welcome back. This is your boy Souza Banks, and today I have some good news. I've just passed my 50K phase two, and first I'm going to be breaking down. Let me show how my dashboard looks. This is basically the 100K account. I'm still passing the. I received the account yesterday, 2 days ago, but I'm waiting for the right setup so they can pass phase two also. And mainly on this 50K account, I've just completed the days today, 5 trading days, because I passed in 3 days. So this is what it is. So I'm just waiting for FundedNext to reach out so that they can give me the funded account. And this is it. And let me show the overview. Taking in consideration, I didn't have any loss. Like I just opened the last 2 days. I opened two different positions because I needed to count the 5 days. So I had loss, this loss, and I made this and this. This was break even. This was break even. Only 6 trade. I could have had only four, but I needed to take this. I could have had only two, but yeah, it is what it is. So right now I'm just waiting so they can reach out. So I've passed phase two. So I'm going to be breaking down what was the setup that I use. Mainly, I only trade gold, US 30, Nasdaq, and sometimes other indexes when they very good. But this week I saw a very clear, let's say, very clear setup on this one. So starting from the basics. So the setup was something like this. Let me show. It was around this point, I would say. Yeah, it was around this point because it was on Monday. Yeah, it was on Monday. So let's have from the daily time frame. One thing I've realized on the daily time frame, I didn't need the weekly or any other time frame, was AUD USD was actually waving to the downside. So I knew that this consolidation that price was really making, I needed to have the H4 and the H1 telling me also that it's going down. So I was like, okay, let me mark this out. So I marked this level, this other one. So my job is on H1 on H4 is to refine this level so that I don't have messy on my chart. So it was like this. I knew already that price was waving to the downside at this lower high, which is the daily lower high, and this level. I'm like, okay, I know the daily time frame is now waving to the downside. So what about H4? So I ended up seeing that price was making clear structure. Price was making higher high, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. I was like, okay, the daily and the H4 time frames that are actually going to the downside. So I need to look for a very good entry so that I can take advantage of this because I already have two major time frames telling me that price is trending down. So okay, what I did was quite simple. I went to H4. I didn't really need the daily levels because I knew on H4 what price was actually telling me. So I was like, okay, this was my high. This was my low. And then at this particular point, price failed to keep waving to the upside. It failed to break structure. Then price broke this low. So we had um, another lower high point. So this was my recent lower high. So from this point, I was like, okay, H4 already giving me clear details, and I wanted to have a very good entry. So I was like the daily going down, the H4 time frame also going down. Let me see what H1 or probably H2 can give me. So from this point, I was like, okay, I know this is the main point where price broke structure. So I was like, this is the point where I will be looking for entries below, and this is mainly the level that I'm looking for, and this is my lower high point where if price breaks it, I'm going to be like, okay, price has just changed, has just changed the trend. So at this point, I was only waiting for a transition here, or I could have had my entry below this level. But so at this moment, I didn't need to use my EMAs because I only use these two indicators. Just most of the times, just pure price action. Then I was a lower high to this lower low point, and I wanted to aim like to this projection. So I had this as my first target. My profit would be based on this low and this projection point. So I was like, okay, so that I don't get lost. I know that was like from this point. I'm not I'm not forgetting that the daily is a major time frame, but I was like, I only need H4 going down, H1 going down, and also because we don't really see this point on the on H4 time frame, on H1 time frame, we don't really see this point. But the first point that price made the change was here. That's why below this level we had this sell-off. So on H1 price broke first, then on H4 price broke also, but this is not clear on H1. I'm like, okay, I do have H1 selling and I do have H4 selling. So I most of the time look for 3 time frames to align. So I was like, okay, let me go to M30 because it was time to be focusing on my entries. So I was like, okay, high low, high low, high low, high low. So price was making higher low points because the 8 M30 M15 time frame was making price to go higher. And then this was my highest point of this uptrend of this M15 M30 uptrend. So I was like, okay, let me look for breaks because it's time to capitalize. It's time to know where I'm going to be selling or where I'm going to be buying. So this was on Monday. I think it was on it was on Monday mainly. Let me see the H4 time frame. Yeah, it was like this. So let me go to H1 because I saw the break and then I waited because on M15 I saw price was also making lower high points, but this was a one break because I only validate this low. I'm ignoring this one, so I was like, okay, let me wait, let me wait, let me wait, let me wait. And then I started to see that yes, I started to realize price made a break, made this, let's say, small level of support. On H4, I was able to see that the price wouldn't come again to this point. So my entry was here, my stop loss, my stop loss was above this level, and I was aiming to this projection because I was aiming this projection because it would give me a 1 to 3. But I didn't really need to hold that much my position because my main target, I placed my TP here because I only needed 1 to 2 in this position. It was a 1 to 2 RR. So I didn't need too much because I was risking 1%, which is 500 on my 50K account. And yeah, price ended up doing what I was expecting. And price hit my target. And one thing that I missed was opening this position on that a on that on the 100K account, because if I had risked like 2% on my 100K account, with a 1 to 3 target, I would have made 6,000, and I would have passed phase one, which one trade only. I ended up having a break even on the other setup, but I'm not going to show that setup. It's quite disgusting also. But this was the trade that I've had, and I could have used EMAs on M15 because I saw it, like my confirmation. But I was like, I know this price action. It's okay. Sometimes I look for all the confluences, but I forgot some confluences sometimes. But it's okay. As price action speaks first, I was okay. And this was the trade that I had this week, so that I can pass the 50K phase two. Thank you for watching me, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe and like the video.